Okay, so Megan informed me that my intro kind of sounds like something from a 90s horror movie soundtrack. Got some different music. I'm not a horror person and I'm not really into that whole scary thing. That's just not me. Why yes, I did make that animation all by myself. Was 18, has 2 thumbs, and still plays with paper dolls. Geeky stuff. Yay. So the main thing I geek out about is comic books, but it's not like I'm obsessed or anything. It's not like I'm one of those weird people who dresses up like their favorite superhero or anything. What that? Don't, go away! Go away! Okay. So you got me. I am a little tiny obsessed. Unless you've been hiding under a rock for, the past, 70-something years, you probably know what Batman is by now. Before the reboot, this was my favorite section of the DC universe. I liked the BatClan. Instead of telling you something you already know, which is the basis behind Batman, I'm going to try the best to tell you the story of my favorite character, the one I dressed up like in those pictures. Stephanie Brown! Before we start this challenge, I need to make 3 things clear. Number 1, I'm talking about the pre-reboot DC universe, so that was before the New 52. Because the New 52 and the reboot kind of make me a little bit angry. Number 2, Robin isn't just one person, it's a title. And there was 5 of them in the main DC continuity before the reboot. There was Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Stephanie Brown, and Damian Wayne. Number 3, spoilers below. Past this point, there will be spoilers. Spoilers! In more than one way.
Stephanie's brown dad was a lame version of the ruler called the Clue Master. She became the spoiler to stop him. Robin, Tim Drake, and Steph started dating. She got pregnant, but bought by Robin by the guy before him, called Dean. Stopped being spoiler, had the baby, gave up the baby, went back to being spoiler. Tim stopped being Robin. She started being Robin. She got fired from being Robin. She tried to prove she was good enough, but it didn't quite work, and she accidentally started a gang war. She died. Stephanie came back from the dead. Turned out she wasn't actually dead. She was in Africa. Bruce Wayne dies. Stephanie becomes Batgirl!
So yeah, that's Stephanie Brown in a nutshell. Being a geek for me was kind of genetic. My whole family, at least the immediate part of my family, is very geeky. I grew up watching Monty Python and Red Dwarf. The first music I can remember are the Bare Naked Ladies and then Weird Al. And to this day, I still prefer a lot of Weird Al songs over their original. My, this here Anakin guy may be Vader someday later, but for now he's a small fry. Left his home and kissed his mommy goodbye, saying soon I'm gonna be a Jedi. Saying soon I'm gonna be a Jedi. And it wasn't just my dad who was a geek, it was also my mom who was a geek. Well, she was a little less of a geek, but she was still really geeky in her own little private geeky way. And she's the one who got me hooked on comic books. So yes, Mom, I blame you for my addiction. My mom used to read ElfQuest, which is really cool. It's about elves and stuff. And they ride giant wolves. And I don't know if they're still made anymore, but I remember I have a really fond memory of staying up really late and reading by a flashlight under my covers these ElfQuest books and having to be really careful not to rip anything and putting them back in the paper sleeves, these types of paper sleeves. And I just remember being so careful about it because they meant so much to my mom. My mom's a cool person. I like a lot of things when it comes to geek. I'm like a very wholly rounded geek. I like all sorts of things when it comes to geek culture. I play video games, though mostly it's just on my DS. I'm like in love with this thing. I also draw fan art, so fan art! Though I never get around to actually scanning any of it, which I should. I enjoy the occasional sci-fi show here and there, like Doctor Who or Firefly. I saw those quotes in your video, Kat, and I really appreciated them. I can kill you with my brain. The main thing I geek out about is comic books, as mentioned earlier in this video. Right now, I'm more into Marvel than I am into DC, just because the reboot kind of I don't like it. Some people do, some people don't, I'm one of the people who don't. And Marvel's doing a really good job with their comic books. They just want my money more than DC does. Though, if you want my favorite comic book series, start to finish, would have to be Brian Q. Miller's Batgirl. I may just own every single issue of that series. Good luck in the inevitable zombie apocalypse, Phoebe.